Hello and welcome to Outer Limits of InnerScience, where we explore human transformation, consciousness, and the science of meditation in order to empower people to heal and thrive. With me today, as always, Dr. Hillari Hamilton.
Hey, Andrew. I'm so excited to be here and share this amazing conversation.
I know my body loves being here with you, and I know you're there sitting in your body, and we're going to be talking about a lot of bodies today.
I know, and this whole entire conversation really lends itself to understand how powerful and how magical and miraculous the human body really is.
Absolutely. So what do you think? Are we our body, or are we something greater than our body?
Oh, I think we're greater than our bodies.
Absolutely. So I feel like the body is really our tool for experiences. It's why we have our sight and hearing, all those senses. It's to experience. It's to have experiences in nature with family, all these emotional things and all the exciting roller coasters that we get to have in order to contribute that information to the mind of God, to consciousness, to source, to the void, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and I'm just so excited about our guest today because he really puts everything in perspective, and you can really tell how much he loves what he does.
Yeah, I love that he has such a light heart. He's an entertainer, he's a comedian, he's a dancer. He does so many things, and I can't wait for you guys to hear this episode. We're really excited to bring it to you.
And many of you know this man already because he spends some time with us during events, and you'll know exactly what I mean when you see his face.
Yep. We spend so much time, Hillary, trying to change our thoughts, our habits, and even who we believe we are. But rarely do we stop and ask, what about our body? What about the body that's been living it all with us?
Yeah, today's conversation invites us into a completely different lens, not the body as a machine made of parts, but as a living, continuous system that adapts to everything we do.
Yep. And that idea alone really changes everything because it means that the body isn't just along for the ride. It's actually participating in shaping our experiences moment to moment.
Yeah. And today we're joined by, guess who? Gil Hedley, who's worked in integral anatomy and fascia and has helped thousands of people see the body in a completely new way.
Yep. We can't wait to bring him on. So without further ado, the man you've known and seen in videos, if you've been to Dr. Joe's events in the last couple of years, you know this man, you're very familiar with him. Please welcome Dr. Gil Hedley.
Hey.
You guys all know Dr. Gil, and you're in the same background. We recognize where you are.
I live in a special realm with a wrinkly gray curtain and my beloved plant. That's it. I don't leave here.
They don't let you out? That's it?
She gets lonely.
Well, I would love to know, if we can just find out a bit about who you are, how you became who you are. Like, how did you get to where you are today? Just, I don't know, rewind to your childhood, whatever you think is relevant.
I think I'm still becoming whatever this is, and I'm not absolutely sure what it is. But I was a young man, bodybuilding and looking in a mirror in the 70s, trying to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It never happened, but I got really interested in the body and went to undergrad, studied religion actually and anthropology.
Oh, wow.
And then went on to grad school and got a PhD in ethics, religious ethics, theological ethics. So philosophy, ethics, theology is my grad school background. But while I was there, I realized I was not embodied in the slightest. I was living somewhere out over here, which was encouraged at the University of Chicago, that you be disembodied, just a thinking machine. And so I started doing Tai Chi to get into my body. It helped, and that led me to massage and becoming a certified Rolfer at the Rolf Institute of Structural Integration in Boulder, Colorado. So my PhD is in ethics. My professional work at the very beginning was massage and bodywork Rolfing, but I soon realized I was digging deeper than I knew what I was touching and wanted to know more anatomy. So I, being Dr. Hedley, called up a med school and said, "Hello, this is Dr. Hedley. I'd like a cadaver, please." And they were like, "Okay." So so I started dissecting on my own with some friends, and then started running classes. And so for the last 32 years, I've been running dissection laboratories, uh, teaching massage therapists, body workers, yoga folks, energy people, uh, PTs, OTs, chiropractors, osteopaths, anybody who'll come to see the body from maybe what I would call an integral perspective, rather than the regional anatomy that one would learn in med school. I teach what I call integral anatomy as an invitation to perceive the whole, to become more whole through the process. It's a transformative process in the laboratory as opposed to academic one.
Which is great. Can you explain a little bit more about what integral anatomy is and what does it mean to actually live it?
Sure. So for me, integral anatomy is complementary to regional anatomy. Regional anatomy is a very left brain activity, separating the body into parts, naming those parts, organizing those parts into taxonomies of information so that we can organize our knowledge around the body. Integral anatomy is about witnessing the relationships, the continuities, the textures, the kind of right brain witnessing of the whole and its relationships, and then changing yourself as a result of those understandings, because the relationships that we can perceive within extend beyond us. The continuities and wholeness that we can perceive within can extend beyond us. So to me, if you're perceiving relationships within and assessing them and noticing how you are in relationship to those things, it might and does have a way of spilling out into your interpersonal relationships, into your relationships with the world, into how you see things. So for me, it's all about that. It's not about I don't dissect in order to divide the body into parts and name them. I dissect in order to feel my way into the relationships that I would otherwise miss if I were only memorizing parts and if that were what anatomy was. For me, anatomy is about having an opportunity to feel and embody and become conscious throughout the continuities within, because I believe them to be the microcosm of everything, actually.
Beautiful, beautiful. You talk about layers, and and wholeness. How does how does somebody apply that understanding of like the different layers of the body? Uh, Apply that to their understanding, whether they're a body worker or let's say a meditator. How does that tie in together?
Well, each texture of the body has its own frequency. And so when you learn to end feel through those textures and to say, "Oh, I know where I am in the body," not to say I'm in the upper half of arm, but to say, "Oh, I'm in the buoyant superficial fascia, which is continuous throughout the whole form." And I can tune into that. It has a frequency, a personality, and some people live there more than somewhere else in their body. Some people live in their guts. Some people live in their head. Some people live in their heart. You can find people living in those textures as a body worker, but also you can harmonize those frequencies as a meditator. So either way, you're pretty much doing the same thing. Body workers, I see as kind of the maestro for a moment in a person's system, where they invite a person through contact with those varying frequencies to create, a concert that feels better. A meditator could do the same, right? So you could work your way through the frequencies of these different textural layers and see to it that your relationship with them is balanced, appreciative, and cultivating a sense of the whole, as opposed to I like this and I hate that inside of myself. And so the stuff I hate, I'll shove over there and not pay attention to. And then the stuff I like, I'll hang out there like, oh, I'm a muscle guy. I'm going to hang out in my muscle tissue frequencies and I'm going to live that way and wonder why my life goes as it does. or you could be hanging out, somewhere else in your form. But you can also move your consciousness around in there, as Joe says. You give your energy to what you pay attention to. So the things that you're ignoring are not getting much energy, and the things that don't get much energy tend to get disassociated, and things that are disassociated tend to get sick. And so when we develop through, to my mind, that's one of the fun parts about studying anatomy, is to develop like aspects of appreciation for every frequency, every texture, every layer, every continuity, so that nothing is left out. Everything has an opportunity to be integrated, and you can let the body figure out how that happens. I don't know. Angels know, maybe, but the invitation is to say, I do not reject any part of this great gift. I can witness it all and say thank you, and learn, from those frequencies, from those textures.
And what do you think about different parts of your body that get stuck physically or stuck emotionally? How do you identify that?
They hurt. Oh, do you mean in the lab or just in me?
They hurt. I love it.
We get whispers all the time, right? Our body is a personality whisperer, and it's whispering us. We think, oh, we're the body whisperers. No, you got it backwards. Your body is constantly whispering to you, and you're either listening or not. And so we can listen to the whispers, or we can wait for the screams, right? So because it's just like a child, they're like, mom, ma, 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 and it starts getting hysterical on you. Your body's the same way. And also, if it's injured somehow, right? Say you bumped yourself and you put your hands immediately. It's like a reflexive action. You'll put your hands on your knee if you bumped it or something like that, and we give comfort to our bodies in their whisperings. But sometimes in their shoutings, we just get mad. We think we're a victim. We play the victim to our bodies, and we make our body a perpetrator and separate from ourselves, and we then go looking for a savior. That's pretty common. The victim, perpetrator, savior triangle of disaster. It's a form of consciousness that we sometimes play out, but it's not really, I think, how it's set up to work. There's a sense that we have when we become alive in a body, a soul in a body, that we're one with that body. And so instead of saying my elbow is killing me, like it's the perpetrator, and I'm the victim, and some therapist is going to be the savior, we could say, oh, I feel pain here. I wonder what's going on, and I could take responsibility instead of blaming my body for my situation.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's quite a different approach, but that's what we're all here to learn is to do that and to have a more holistic approach and realize, oh, right, all of these parts are connected, and my thoughts are affecting my body, and my body is affecting my thoughts. So you were talking about the different frequencies, and it made me think about the energy centers, or
Yeah.
Dr. Joe calls them energy centers. Other modalities call them chakras. But can you tell us, like, is there something in the body that is physically directly connected to those energy centers?
Well, I'm going to leave it for a clairvoyant to tell me those connections. And I do believe there are folks who can see them and bear witness to them. But what I can see from my level of development and perception is a lot of stuff going on in some spots more than others. Like the body as a whole, and the world as a whole, but there's something different going on in the ocean than in the mountains, right? And in the same way, when we look in the body, we can see certain concentrations of activity, concentrations of types of tissues working together that speak to me. And I look at them and I'm like, that's so interesting. Like, why in this like really cool spot here inside the center of my brain is this magnetite accumulating gland that's surrounded by cerebrospinal fluid, and that's like the star inside of a crystal egg called my head, that with the dens of my vertebrae, the second cervical vertebrae, pointing up with a piezoelectric fabric wrapped around it, around this piezoelectric crystal skull with this friggin' magnet in the middle of it. I don't know. I think this potential for magic happening there. And I don't see that in my kneecap in quite the same way.
You mentioned the piezoelectric effect and in the crystal skull and everything. It all reminds us, the people that are on this call, of your dissection of the brain and how you identify the pineal gland and what it resembles in other parts of your body. And it's very memorable to all of us.
Oh,
It's
yes.
it's the elephant in the room. It's the elephant in the room, really. We all know you because of that video that gets shown over and over again.
It was less than
Besides the
a minute
fact
at
that
a time, I
the
swear.
heart we know you as the heart is a spinner guy, and
Yeah.
also the what the pineal gland represents or looks like.
Well, I'll tell you that there's a reason why people say they're having brain gasms, right? In other words, there's a correlation there that I don't think is accidental. The way we have forms in our body, forms have an energy quality to them. Like the function of my earlobe is different than the function of my nose shape, right? In other words, each shape carries its a kind of energy, and the shapes are important. And when we see the shapes repeat, that is interesting
Mm.
to me, and tells it makes me curious. Makes me curious about corresponding functions, and how one could be charging another, or how do these electromagnetic effects occur, or what other levels of effects are there that are not even part of this dimension that layer into it when we go into meditations and that sort of thing.
Yeah. After we show that video, Dr. Joe ultimately says, I don't care what you do or how you do it, just get up in there and stimulate that thing. He's saying it jokingly, but he's also saying it for real. And I love what you just said. It's like there are things in the body that repeat themselves. I mean, it's a phallus shape. All of those things require or make use of stimulation. They're more sensitive for some reason. So I think that's really interesting that that shape repeats itself.
Yes, and I do I you can go anywhere in your body. And I say to people, you're really learning anatomy when you name the thing and its energy wakes up. If you name the whatever, the cuneiform bone from your foot, it should sort of start to be like, hey, they're talking to me. I'm about to come on stage. How exciting. And if you say pineal gland, or if you say prostate for that matter, it ought to know you're talking about it because you have a relationship with it. And then a charge comes there from your attention.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful way of functioning.
So I want to go back to what we were just talking about a minute ago. My last question about the energy centers. Same thing. Dr. Joe spends a lot of time putting has us put our attention on those energy centers, and he describes them as having these plexuses of neurons. And I know you had shared a video one time where during a dissection you were kind of showing it was a nerve tour. That was the recent tour you did across the U.S., right? Can you tell us about tie that in the plexuses of neurons that you did in the video?
Sure, absolutely. In the tour that I did, we went to my partner Rachel and I, who's also a graduate of the Orlando retreat, several years ago. We went together and had a wonderful time. So I did a dissection project back in 2023. I spent about 5 months working on a particular form, which we call Captain. He was a family friend. His son is about 4 feet from me right now at the moment, and we toured the country, 105 cities, showing the fruits of that 5 months of labor, dissecting particularly on the nervous tissues, that nerve tree, as I like to call it. And while I was doing it, I shot probably 3, 4, 5 videos with you guys in mind, and then I incorporated them into the tour talk. One of which was kind of a visit to the autonomic plexuses that one can find kind of lined up in the center of the body. And having read in one of Dr. Joe's books, his way of associating the chakras with those autonomic nerve plexuses, I thought, well, let's see them, let's show them, and that way people can pay attention to them better. Was my idea, and so yeah, I shared the plexuses around the heart center, I shared the complex nerves of the neck and the stellate ganglion here near the thyroid gland. I shared the uh, the 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 solar plexus, as we call it in anatomy, or the celiac plexus, has another name. The superior mesenteric and the inferior mesenteric, which kind of line up with Joe's lower five energy centers. And I knew I'd covered the pineal and the pituitary in other videos. So that was fun for me, particularly because I hadn't really thought about aligning those nerve plexuses with energy centers. But as I thought about, for instance, the inferior mesenteric plexus, which is about, 3 inches from the superior mesenteric plexus, but the branching of the inferior mesenteric plexus goes throughout the deep pelvis, right? So it goes into there, or the branching of the superior mesenteric plexus goes, throughout the intestines, which are kind of at center abdomen, or the celiac plexus, which kind of covers the upper solid organs of the body, or the hollow and solid, the stomach, the spleen, the pancreas, the liver. And I thought, oh, what a cool way of bringing our attention via these plexuses to the places where the plexuses ultimately branch, which is the deep pelvis, the lower abdomen, the upper abdomen, the heart center, and the thorax, and the throat. So I had a lot of fun not only digging those out, because it took me about 3 months to do that. Just so you know, that stuff is not.
Wow.
You don't wave a wand and reveal the autonomic plexuses. It was a butt ton of work. I literally sat over a table like this for 3 months picking for those things. It was a workout. Uh, so. And believe me, I can picture them now. I can pay attention to them at will. And I had fun
I
inviting
bet.
people all over North America to do the same.
Yeah, that's so exciting. One of what really impressed me is the video that you did on the dissection of the heart and how
Mm.
you say it's the spinner. And I've never looked at my heart again the same way. And I know that's what you intend to do for participants in like the audience at Dr. Joe's events. It's once you see it as a spinner, it's a whole nother way of connecting to your body.
And you know something, I appreciate you saying that, and that it's had an impact for you. It's had an impact for me as well. I had read maybe over 30 years ago, I received a paper from somebody, and it was Rudolf Steiner's paper that was titled "The
Mm.
Heart is Not a Pump." And I never read the paper. I was too in shock just from the title. And I had to think about it, and I haven't stopped thinking about it for 30 something years. I've been thinking about that. Well, if not a pump, then what? Then what really is the better metaphor to describe this beautiful place within ourselves? And it looks to me, from the evidence that the body provides, that it's the place where the blood spins itself. It's the place where it refreshes its movement through that dancing organ. And it's the movement that is our health, not the pushing. It's allowing that spinning life movement to roil through us without resistance. Because when we do resist it, we get all kinds of problems. We get all kind of crusty and inside, and it's a mess. But if we kind of relax and I mean, we say go with the flow. This is a bumper sticker, a T-shirt, whatever. It's true. The flow of your blood is this beautiful meandering vortex going through your body, and when your vessels are supple, that whole heart, right, is supple and receiving that movement and pulsing and undulating and rhythmically uh, pleasuring the whole being from the motion of the heart, then we see its true purpose is to invite us to that excitation of life's movement, as opposed to just some secondary thing that we might check into, but we might not, because who really needs it? We've got the brain and it knows everything. I'm telling you, if you make this friggin' hamster on a wheel in charge of the whole show, you're going to be in trouble, folks. let your let your heart lead the symphony. It's a much safer ride.
I love that. And I remember when I first learned about your videos, you shared them with us, and I went to your YouTube channel. And for those of you that are watching this, check out Gil Hedley's YouTube channel. If you just search his name, Gil Hedley, you'll find it. And there's one video in particular, I remember it's a pretty old one, but I fell in love with you when I saw it. And it was your like dance or movement interpretation of the heart. And it was so beautiful. Like
Yeah.
I'm about to cry right now just thinking about it because I was so moved by that. What what possessed you to do that? It was so beautiful.
I had a beautiful friend, Anne Marie Duchesne. She was one of the original choreographers for Cirque du Soleil uh, up in Canada. She's French Canadian, become U.S. citizen. And Anne Marie took my course many, many times. We became great friends. And she was like, Gil, I'm a dancer. I need to see what the heart does. Can you help me? And I was like, anything for you, Anne Marie. So I did that little, I just made up that little dance. And I don't know what possessed me to take my shirt off. I was just in a folks, it doesn't look like that anymore. Under the lab coat, it's gotten a little fleshy. Well, that was like quite a while back. But anyway, I've had so much beautiful, warm feedback about that particular sharing. I've had folks do choreograph all over the world. People have sent me videos of them interpreting the heart dance, so it makes me happy.
I just love the way you teach us about the importance of the body and the sanctity of the body and how there's no separation and how our body's listening to what we're thinking. And I know that that's in alignment with Dr. Joe. And when you're out there showing your dissections, what moves you the most? Is there a part of the body that you enjoy showing more than others?
That's an interesting question. I think what I enjoy most about the sharing is surprising the people that I share with about how beautiful the human form is. What an extraordinary gift that we share one another throughout this whole planet, and that we could even identify ourselves beyond this body, so that we can and often and mostly do identify very hard with our body. That's why we fight so hard for them, right? But also when we realize we're all sharing the same sun. I call it the master gland, right? We're all being pulled on by the same moon. There's a larger human form, a larger human body. And it's that one that I most enjoy inviting people to experience, so that when we're together in a group, and I see this happening in Joe's retreats, and I see it happening in the gatherings that I'm privileged to bring together, I see people coming together as one body, and and recognizing that each of us are contributing to what it means to be the human body, the whole human body, meaning all of us in relationship, working together in concert, in harmony, blessing one another the way the eye could bless the hand, or the ears could bless the foot, and say, "I need you. I welcome you. I honor you." And that's the kind of thing I'm wanting to cultivate in a room. And I enjoy watching that happen on y'all's retreats as well.
Speaking of honoring the body, you display a lot of reverence for the donors who, like Captain Z. I was going to ask, do you know these people? Are they like, what is that process like? But you already shared that the son of Captain's son is right there in the room with you. So can you give us share a little bit more about what that process is like and the reverence that you have and just explain that a little bit.
Yes, of course. I'll start out by saying without ever knowing my donors, I've always loved them. In gratitude for their gifts, in gratitude for their families who make their giving possible, because once you die, you can't see your gift through. It depends on the family seeing it through, right? So I'm always in a position of gratitude and appreciation to the families who share their bodies. And then now that my work is kind of out there, and my family loves it too. Z, for instance, was um, our lab director's best friend's brother, and he was his massage therapist. So it was an intimate relationship there as well. Captain, as mentioned, was a family friend. And presently, the project I'm working on was my brother in law. He passed away a year ago, January, and called me from hospice and offered me his body. And I gratefully received it. And people might think, wow, that's kind of intense. I thought you weren't supposed to know him. And well, maybe in regional anatomy, you're not supposed to know them because you're going to take them, average them, and turn them into a piece of a statistic. But for me, integral anatomy is very personal. Integral anatomy looks first to the individual to see what is perfect human anatomy. I don't take it all up, average it, find a mean. I call that mean anatomy. That instead, I like to witness each individual's contribution to the whole human form and make an accounting of it and bear witness to it and honor that specific individual's contribution to what it means to be human. In the case of my brother-in-law and Captain and Z and Anna and all of them, it becomes a very personal, intimate process to do the dissection. It's like I'm reading someone's diary very carefully that they wrote
Mm.
themselves quietly without mentioning many other people. And I'm paging through this beautiful text that they composed, and I have the opportunity to appreciate and to say, "Wow, look what so and so went through. Look at how they lived. Look at how they brought life to this area. Look at what they may have feared. Look at how they had hard times." And I can see all of these things, and in the form, and then be grateful for having the chance to bear witness to it and also to learn in this incredibly intimate way, uh, in a way that I can both share and also see if I can find that in myself because ultimately it's an exercise in embodiment on my own part. I mentioned being kind of out of body in grad school, and I meant it. And this whole career has been a process of a disembodied dude trying to get into his body. So far, so good.
And you talk about you mentioned in the beginning about Rolfing, and I know Rolfing is has to do with like fascia, and fascia seems to be a new subject that's coming out. What can you tell us about what gets stored in the fascia and how the body reacts to how you think into your body?
Well, these connective tissue planes and kind of compartmentalizing tissues that compartmentalize at every scale of the body, right? In the macro and in the micro. We don't so much call it fascia when it's small, though I'm arguing about that with an international committee at the moment. Uh, because that's what people do. You argue nomenclature with one another. So fascia, I'll spare you the politics of fascia, but and there is fascia politics. So is this tissue in our body that's like the negative space of everything that regional anatomy names, right? So all the parts and bits and things, all the nouns that you can accumulate studying regional anatomy, you can witness their context when you start to pay attention to fascia. And fascia is continuous throughout the body. It's it's the most abundant proteinaceous stuff that we have, and it's maybe an organ of shape. Ida Rolf called it. And what some body workers do, like Rolfers, is kind of track into that particular tissue of the body, and because it is continuous, you can relate to the whole through it. Although I'm fond of saying you can only touch the whole, it's your only choice. Like the whole body is the only thing you can touch. It's a continuity and an entity that's whole. But I mean, we have a whole fascia congress. I just spoke at it a few months ago. It was really fun in New Orleans, where we discussed this tissue. And but I always hesitate to kind of overhype it because every time something kind of comes to the fore, and people start paying attention to it, then it becomes, the be all and end all of tissues. It's like it's the psoas. Everything is about the psoas. Everything is about QL. In the 90s, it was QL, then the psoas, now fascia. So, it's wonderful that we have communities and attention being placed upon this very important system of consciousness in our body. Uh, and also, I would suggest that it's always something that's integrated with the whole, and that you can pretty much access and enter that whole from any pathway that you choose, fascia included.
Um, I'm wondering. I asked you early on to rewind a little bit. Your the way you come across. I love your energy, your lightheartedness, the way you can talk about the body and serious subjects in a very lighthearted way. What was there somebody in your life in your childhood that was just fun and funny that made you who you are? Did you have any kind of mystical experience that made you who you are? If you really rewind and look at it, who or what would you credit for how you became the Gil Hedley that we're seeing today?
I read a lot of comic books as a boy.
Yeah,
My dad was really funny. Uh, sitting there on the pot when you're 9 years old, reading Archie, that kind of thing. And I also was
that'll
reading
do it. Yeah.
the dictionary. I was reading the dictionary and comic books. All the fun comics of the 70s, The Wizard of Id, uh, you know, Blondie, the Sunday comics. So I don't know. I think it's just part of my soul makeup that I think everything's kind of ridiculous, and and I figure I'll run with that. And also I do have a serious side, because every once in a while I settle in and realize that the source of all that levity is a lot of love, and it moves me.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I resonate with your light heart, and I think it is a great way to go through life, and just nothing's that serious, including death, including the body, including all these things, and
It's
it's
true.
all temporary, and it's just the vessel for our consciousness to be here for a little while and have these experiences. So why not make it joyful?
My mother was that woman taking her children to church, and then whispering jokes about the priest to us in the middle of mass. Like, Mom, we laughed at our relatives' funerals. We- because okay, so one of my favorite teachers is Stylianos Ateshlis. Rest in peace, Daskalos. He was a Greek Cypriot healer. And Daskalos mentions that when he was a boy and saw his father all stressed out, he thought to share with him that, he said it in a marbly Greek accent, most things do not matter very much, and the rest do not matter at all. So that's been a life motto for me.
That's that's great. I love it.
And you go on the road with dissection, and so you're out there. Are you entertaining and educating? I mean, not too many people go out with, a cadaver out there and teaching people on the road as a show. How is that? Like, can you explain to us like
I don't
what
take
that
the
would
cadaver on the road.
You could carpool if you did. I'm just saying.
Just I take images from the laboratory and videos, but no
Okay.
actual. I'm the body that teaches, and so it is rare. I may be the only anatomy rock and roll road show out there so far. Maybe I'll spawn an empire of anatomy road shows. I don't know, but I find that folks enjoy coming to the lab, and I love the interpersonal experience, but not everybody has an inclination to come and do a dissection workshop. And so I go out on the road to share this work so that I can connect with more people in the way that many people need to connect, which is in person. I've done my share of online teachings, and I did record the Nerve Tour live stream so that folks could see that lecture in all of its uh, insane, wacky glory and beauty when for what I share. But I feel that the connection with people is really important. That's why I say so. happy that Dr. Joe started so quick back to the retreats after most of the world was still hiding a few years back, and show how much value there is in being together with each other. And so that's one of the things that's at the heart of my tour talks, is the chance to hug people, the chance to say hi,
Mm.
the chance to um, w- w- engage that energy that you can only get when there's a couple hundred people in a room or so, and you get that joy that ripples through, or that touching moment where everyone's hearts connect, can be really powerful, and something that folks can walk away from and be transformed by that. Rachel would report to me, because she was in the back of the room working the table, etc., and she'd say, "Well, when they first come in, they're kind of frazzled, and they've just been driving, and and um and they don't know, do they pay for their ticket properly or what have you." And she checks them in, and then they go for the first break, and they're a little calmer, and they maybe poke around the tables a little bit to see what's going on in the back. They're talking to each other, conversations start. The second break, they're like, huh, there's a really a mood change that happens, and then by the end of the talk, they're back there crying on her shoulder and hugging her, so uh, it's a beautiful arc of experience that can be shared on tours like that, that I can't quite hit that, just in a YouTube video.
Yeah. Yeah, we witnessed that at the events. And it's the same thing. There's a period of the first night of discomfort and the second day, and then Dr. Joe's pushing everybody, but eventually they settle in. And by day 3, especially, everybody's probably had a breakthrough or not, but they're really leaning in and just really paying attention. And my father used to say, there's nothing like a conference for people to rub elbows. And then he'd say, and minds, like to be in the same room. And I think back when he was doing it in the 70s and stuff like that, they never thought about the idea of rubbing hearts. Like, we're really connecting in the same field. So or do you have another tour planned, or would you do it again?
Well, we were Rachel and I stopped at Esalen on the last leg of the big 105 cities. And as I was sitting in the hot tub looking out at the otters flipping around in the kelp, I was thinking, wow, what would be the next thing? And I thought it up, and and then I hit the wall so hard when we got back. I was so depleted energetically, like I had given 150% for 15 months on the road, and I'm
Wow.
still recovering from that. And so
Yeah.
I'm feeling I'm doing my project here. I'm getting a lot of beautiful content and talking, I have helpers come, just a stream of helpers. So we've had house guests since for a year coming through our home. And that's a beautiful part of this work as well, is to be able to have conversations around the dissection table with people, plumbing the depths of our own feeling states and ideas. And then maybe in a few years, I'll bring it out again. We'll see how my energy is going.
Yeah. What is like one thing that you would want people to take away on understanding their body and how their body functions?
Your body is on your side.
Oh,
It's it's a it's a it's a gift that you've given yourself, and it's it's worth your it's worth your time and energy to make friends with it, to pay attention to your body, to welcome its communications, and to walk with it like uh, a saint that's accompanying you on your journey, and that has your best interest in mind always, even when it's hurting, when it's shouting out at you, when it seems to be going off the rail. It's only doing that for your sake, and as a reflection of your own greatest needs and aspirations. It's never It's never against you. And when you make friends with your body and recognize the great gift of that accompaniment of your soul on this planet, uh, amazing things can happen. I love Dr. Joe's work for the clarity it brings and the witness it brings to our potential to be um, more than just, doorknob turners and salad spinners. Like that's all. Those things are good, and we are equipped in this extraordinary gift, this extraordinary technology, like spiritual embodied technology, to achieve levels of consciousness that we've barely only begun to dare imagining. So keep up the good work.
Mm, love that.
Wow, that brings to mind so many different things. I just in listening to you talk about this, I'm thinking about my own body going, "Oh, I love you," and I'm thinking of it like a golden retriever that does nothing but love me and want to go for a walk and do things and provide for me. I know you talk about the temple of consciousness, like that the body is a temple of consciousness. What are your thoughts about is there a connection? Do you have a theory on where consciousness resides? Where our soul resides? Are we I mean, I loved what you just said and yet upon death the body's just a bunch of cells and chemicals and things like that and somehow we're gone.
We're not gone far. And I would say that consciousness is everywhere and everything all at once, and that we're just paying attention to a smidge of it. So we pay attention to a little smidge, think it's us, and the joke of that is revealed to us the moment we die. So, and that death is the biggest joke of all. And I do not believe in it, except to say at night you kick your shoes off before you go to bed, right? Your shoe is your body at death. You just kick it off, and you're like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? uh, and I know
Yeah.
what you're thinking. What we're thinking is, I got a lot to learn, and what an interesting tool for learning is this body. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a weird magical funhouse mirror that we look through and see the world in this weird kind of reduced simplistic way, and slow as molasses, and it allows us time to learn. We have this incredible gift of time that comes with our walkabout in this space-time continuum. That's really a very artificial construct and a minimal slip of what consciousness is about. But for the time being, it's the ultimate schoolroom. And because we have freedom here to use our time any way we like and to do anything we want, really, including be obnoxious, uh, bad choosing people. We can do those things, and we experience the consequences of it, and then we can choose again. Life is Groundhog Day, and we can just keep on re-choosing and re-choosing and re-choosing until we realize that we can actually choose love here. Like, we have free will, and we can use it to choose love in a place that doesn't at first glance look very loving, if you're afraid of it. And once you start to witness that we're surrounded in a matrix of love consciousness, then love is all around. I think that was the name of one of your retreats. And it really is. Like, can you not see love? Like, it in these green leaves? Like, who the heck invented that? We don't know anything. I mean, we say, learn about your body. We don't know anything. You don't know what's going on in your big toe. You never did, and you never will. It's so beyond us, as these limited brain people But we don't have to identify exclusively with that. We can identify with a larger consciousness, and when we do, we start becoming loving in other dimensions. We start becoming we start to love our enemies. Enemies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so nice. And, you know, in our community, we have a lot of people that come to Dr. Joe's work that are dealing with health conditions. And just you saying, you know, your body, you know, is there to support you. And I think this is the biggest lesson that we're here to learn is how we get to live in these bodies. And it's an absolute honor to be inside the body for this period while we're here in the 3D. A lot of learning that's happening.
Gil, is there anything that you want to share with us in closing? I would love to hear. I mean, I know you've written books, you've got websites and YouTube videos. I would love for you to promote some of the work you've done and also give us some of your closing thoughts, what you would like, a thought, a message that you'd like to leave everybody with.
Well, thank you for inviting me to do that. I do have a ton of free stuff available. I have my YouTube channel is not monetized. It's just straight videos with no advertising. The channel is called Somanaut, Somanaut. But like y'all said earlier, you just type Gil Anatomy, Gil Hedley, Gil Fuzz, Gil anything, and you'll get my channel. Also, my website, gilhedley.com, is a a kind of a huge resource. I'm continually creating and adding to my site. And I have what's called an Easy Rider membership, which is also free. I have tens of thousands of free members on my site who enjoy about 20 hours in that particular membership of free content that spans the arc of my career and teaches integral anatomy in a very accessible way through both videos and recorded lectures. So that's Easy Rider membership. I also have a subscription part of the site for folks who want to go deeper. I have over 350 hours of dissection content there where I teach
Wow.
integral anatomy, constantly bringing that forward. Yeah, it's a hefty pile of content that is going to grow a bunch more because I'm going to spend the second half of this year editing out the content from the Nerd Project and the current project and put that all up there. So that's all available. And I also, you mentioned I did write books. I have poetry books, particularly. I have a poetry book called The Seeming Space, which is kind of body-based spiritual poetry that I enjoy sharing very much. All my classes, I start out with something to create a shared energy through poetry. And so that's kind of fun. And then in terms of, I don't know, parting thoughts, I think Dr. Joe nails it with the attention thing. And at the moment in our culture, we are there's a serious fight going on for our attention, and our attention is commodified. So as they say, if you're not paying for it, you're the product. And so where you place your attention, not only in your body and in meditation, but the other 23 hours of the day, is really important. And you energize the things you pay attention to. So if you think that you're going to advance the cause of the planet by paying attention to its deepest miseries for hours and hours a day, you can possibly consider or become curious about placing your attention on the world you want to live in. And I feel like when I was on the Orlando retreat and we were doing the walking meditation, I felt this incredible thrill that I was part of a consciousness movement right there and then that's ongoing to this moment, a consciousness movement to pay attention to the world that we want. Because when we do so, we create it. It's very powerful. Do not underestimate your role in creating the world we want to live in. So thank you all for the ongoing, continuous hard work you do, and thank you folks who are here on this call who are contributing to that consciousness movement that is creating the planet that we actually want to live on.
Yeah.
Very well said. Very well said.
And I just want to say thank you so much for the 2 videos that Dr. Joe shows at the event. The dissection of the brain is so spectacular and memorable. And like I said earlier, the heart, and Andrew will agree with me, the spinner, not the pump, is, gosh, it's just, everybody needs to know that. Everybody would look at their own heart in a new way if they knew it was a spinner, like part of the universe spins. And I just think it's a as above, so below with the human body. And I think that you described that so beautifully.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
and thank you so much, Gil, for joining us today. Oh, wait, I cut you off. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I'm just saying the whirling dervishes, right? Of the that tradition that Rumi started, the whirling dervishes, are are embodying the spin of the heart, and it's an ecstatic process to amplify that inherent motion.
Oh, Gil, that's so funny that you just said that. I just was in Turkey last week, and I got to witness that
Really?
sacred experience watching the whirling dervishes. It was
Oh,
magnificent.
how beautiful.
And for you to bring that up just now is
That's
such a
amazing.
beautiful synchronicity.
It is. It shows you how much we are all entangled, and whether we're in the same room or in different states and connecting on this platform, clearly we are all connected. And I think when you said whirling dervishes, I thought, oh my God, did they talk about this already? But we didn't. We haven't talked about it. And Hillari and I were just talking about it before you came on. So
Yeah.
that is amazing. Gil, thank you so much for joining us today. We so appreciate you being a part of the community and the videos that you've created. And we look forward to more. If you want to create more and share them, we would love to have them.
Definitely.
Thank you. It's my great pleasure.
Oh, Andrew, what a great interview. Oh, and he's such a sweet, sweet man. I'm so glad we had him on the show with us today.
Absolutely. And how could you not just completely fall in love with that guy? He's such a beautiful heart, beautiful soul.
I know. And wow, he was on that nerve tour for so many months.
I kept picturing like he's driving around in a bus, like the Grateful Dead tour.
The Grateful Dead.
Yeah, he is really grateful and really reverent for the bodies, which I thought was beautiful. And I feel like it's degrading to even call them bodies. They were people. They are people. They're beautiful donors who donated their body to science for him to do this work. And I love seeing that side of hearing those stories too.
Yeah, and you mentioned during the call about him doing that dance, the heart dance, and that's such a highlight too of some of his videos.
Yeah, you've got to check it out. Go to YouTube and check him out to see that dance video. He has such a light, joyful heart. He's just a happy human being, and I love seeing that.
And I love that he's a scientist. And when he was in school, he studied religion and anthropology, and he's got his PhD in theology and ethics. So the combination of a scientist and also looking at the body as a spiritual vessel.
Yeah. I feel like all those things that he studied initially were very kind of heady and in his head. And then he started doing Tai Chi, apparently, is what kind of moved him more into the body. And then started Rolfing and massage. So those kind of things, I love the way Tai Chi was kind of a bridge from the head to the body.
Yeah, and how he perceives the body as a whole, and witnessing the relationships and the continuity within, rather than just memorizing parts.
Absolutely. And I love the layers, the whole idea of that we've got these different layers and each one of them have particular frequencies. That whole concept was really beautiful.
Oh my goodness, I know the frequencies. We love frequencies.
Yep. So I also like how we tied in with Dr. Joe's teaching about where you place your attention is where you place your energy. Like that is truly that's kind of our exchange, right? Our energy exchange, and we're paying attention to, like, literally paying, like we're paying attention to parts in the world, and where we put that attention is really powerful. It's really important.
Yeah, and he just kind of tied it all together by saying how our body really loves us and wants us to thrive. And that's pretty much our motto too. So I love that he tied it all in, that the body really is on our side.
Absolutely. Yes, it was a beautiful interview. So great to have him on our podcast. Just want to remind you all that InnerScience is a nonprofit organization that funds groundbreaking research, scientific studies on the biological and physiological effects of meditation on the human body.
We explore human transformation, consciousness, and the science of meditation in order to empower people to heal and thrive. We're a mission-driven community, shifting the paradigm of healthcare together.
And if you'd like to join us on our mission as a catalyst for change, please check out our website at innerscienceresearch.org. If you'd like to learn more about Dr. Joe's retreats, you can go to Dr. Joe Dispenza. And of course, Gil Hedley, the famous Gil Hedley at gilhedley.com. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the field.
Bye, everybody.